Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Cowboys urged to make Super Bowl contender trade for four-time Pro Bowl WR. The Dallas Cowboys have an all-important offseason in front of them, which means trade and free agency moves will be critical. In terms of adding to an already successful team, only the best of the best can elevate the Dallas roster. With that said, Bleacher Report's Alex K believes the team should trade for Buffalo Bills star Stefon Diggs. The Cowboys have been linked to Diggs for as long as his brother and Cowboys CB Trevon Diggs has been in Dallas. K's suggestion explains that Dallas needs to make a trade like this to become legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Dallas would be an ideal landing spot for the four-time Pro Bowler, who has remained highly productive into his AGE 30 season, K wrote on February 13. The Cowboys have a clear need for another high-end pass-catching talent to pair with all-pro wideout CeeDee Lamb. His return, in addition to having his brother in the mix for 2024, could turn the Cowboys into a Super Bowl contender capable of giving the Kansas City Chiefs a run for their money. It would take a huge gamble, but it continues to be a potential move to monitor. If Dallas actually looks to upgrade their receiver group, Diggs could be at the front of their wish list. Cowboys a top contender to land projected $65 million Chiefs star. Insider The Dallas Cowboys are a team to watch in the sweepstakes to land Kansas City Chiefs star cornerback CB Sneed in free agency. Sportskeeda's NFL insider Tony Pauline labeled the Cowboys, Las Vegas Raiders and Atlanta Falcons as contenders to land Sneed if the corner bolts Kansas City. There was talk during Senior Bowl week that Kansas City could place the franchise tag on Sneed this offseason, a move that is projected to cost around $19 million, Pauline detailed in a February 13, 2024 story titled, CB Sneed expected to land massive payday after Super Bowl exploits as NFL teams aim to poach Chiefs CB away from Kansas City. If he hits the open market, expectations are that Sneed will sign a long-term contract that averages around $18.5 million annually, just under the tag amount. If the Chiefs can't sign Sneed in the offseason, where could he land? Keep an eye on the Atlanta Falcons, Dallas Cowboys and Las Vegas Raiders, Pauline continued. The Cowboys would have to do a lot of work to make enough room under the cap to sign Sneed. On the other hand, the Falcons presently have in excess of $25 million in cap space heading toward the new league year. Cowboys rumors. Chiefs star corner CB Sneed is likely too expensive. Would the Cowboys love to have Sneed? Like every NFL team, the answer is undoubtedly yes. There are serious question marks as to whether this is the best use of Dallas resources for an already cap-strapped team. Spotrac projects Sneed's market value to be a 4-year, $65.3 million contract. Dallas is already more than $20 million over the cap for 2024 and will need to rectify this in the coming months. The Cowboys have Trevon Diggs returning, the emergence of Darren Bland and the possibility of re-signing Stephon Gilmore at a much more affordable price than what Sneed is slated to command. Chiefs cornerback CB Sneed is one of the top available NFL free agents. Patrick Mahomes has been the focus of the Chiefs' back-to-back Super Bowls. Yet, Sneed and the Kansas City defense are a major reason why the Chiefs are having a championship parade. Sneed made one of the biggest plays of the Chiefs' season, forcing a fumble against the Ravens just inches before a would-be touchdown for Zay Flowers in the AFC Championship. The veteran posted 78 tackles, 14 pass deflections, 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery in 16 starts last season. CeeDee Lamb drops hints about negotiating a new deal with the Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb is hoping for a long-term deal and his recent comments tell us he's feeling optimistic. Lamb is set to play next season on the 5th-year option of his rookie contract, which will cost the Cowboys $18 million, Spotrac.com. According to Spotrac, they expect Lamb's current market value to be $28 million per year, should he get a long-term deal inked. That figure would place him right behind Tyreek Hill, who signed a $120 million 4-year deal with Miami in 2022. The fact that Lamb was the second most productive wide receiver behind Hill last season, the valuation seems to be on par with the numbers. Dan Graziano from ESPN fully expects Dallas and Lamb to reach an agreement. By doing so, the Cowboys can get their cap cost down for other major contracts, like for Dak Prescott, who is set to cost nearly $60 million next season. But also Micah Parsons is looking to have his contract extended, so Dallas needs all the room they can muster. Lamb recently appeared on Parsons' podcast, The Edge. He answered his fellow teammate about spending his career in Dallas. Absolutely. There's no secret about that. When Parsons asked about his expectations, Lamb didn't give out numbers, but did admit they have a figure in mind. I can't give you no numbers right now. But I'll tell you this, one of the top paid receivers for sure, if not the highest paid receiver. That's always the goal. He then continued to talk about how he looks to evolve as a teammate and leader on the Cowboys roster. First and foremost, I do gotta grow up. There's plenty of ways for me to handle different situations. Me being mad is not one of the answers, I know this. I just feel like that's contagious. I can be more of a leader. I can be more vocal. Lamb also went on to defend his quarterback and the scrutiny Doc came under following the loss against the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. I love my dog, he knows that. Doc can definitely lead us to a Super Bowl. He just also needs other leaders, and that's why I'm pointing at myself. I can help him. He's already got so much on his plate. All this points towards a long-term deal on the horizon for Lamb and a more prominent role in the locker room, which is something all fans can agree is sorely needed when this team gets stymied during games like they did in the playoffs. For now, it's all in the front office's hands to get a new deal done. But as for Lamb, he sounds ready and optimistic to make a deal work. Mike Zimmer breaks silence on joining Cowboys under Mike McCarthy. The Dallas Cowboys introduced new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer today in a press conference alongside Mike McCarthy, and he spoke about what it will take for the defense to improve. At the end of the day, honestly, it's about what the players can do, Mike Zimmer said, via Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News. Ideas are great and all of that. But what can they do? It was interesting to hear Zimmer say that it is up to the players. The Cowboys have a talented defensive unit, headlined by Micah Parsons. Zimmer will undoubtedly enjoy working with Micah Parsons, who has been a top defensive player in the league under Dan Campbell, who departed for the Washington Commanders' head coaching job. Mike McCarthy is entering the last year of his deal with the Cowboys as head coach, and after a massively disappointing showing in the playoffs against the Green Bay Packers as heavy favorites, the hope is that Zimmer can have the defense ready for bigger games like that one. It will be interesting to see if there are any big differences in scheme for Zimmer in comparison to Dan Quinn. The new defensive coordinator brings years of head coaching experience with the Minnesota Vikings. For much of the last decade or so, the Cowboys have been a strong regular season team, but have disappointed in the playoffs. Zimmer hopes to come into Dallas and make an immediate impact that puts the Cowboys back on top in the last year of McCarthy's contract.